The planes on Sunday touched down in El Salvador, and it's a sight. It's good. I love that those are violent, hardened gang members who are actually walking in the huddled fetal position. I've never seen that, but you know that they got some good swats on that plane. Let's talk about our border, okay? Let's talk about the gang members who've been flooding into the United States, or as the left referred to it, a figment of your imagination. So we've seen the left, they oppose us attacking terrorists who are killing American citizens, soldiers, and saying they will continue to do so. We see the left, of course, upset as it relates to DOGE and saving the American taxpayer dollars. We see the left upset in Donald Trump reducing our spending, for example, with Ukraine in a never-ending war. They're upset about that. Okay, but can there be any justification? Is there an argument to be made as to how allowing unfettered illegal immigration is beneficial to you, the American taxpayer, the American worker? Because here we are. You guys know this. There was a judge who blocked the Trump administration from using the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to deport. This was used to deport MS-13 and TDA members. I believe it's Tren de Aragua. A lot of these are Venezuelan gangs. So this act was used to deport violent felons, and a judge blocked the administration from deporting violent felons. Let's get into their argument here.
The Trump administration says it sent hundreds of alleged Venezuelan gang members to El Salvador, raising questions about whether the deportations violate an order from a federal judge. Yesterday, the judge temporarily blocked the administration from deporting non-U.S. citizens under the Alien Enemies Act. He also ordered 2 planes carrying non-citizens that were in the air during the hearing to return to the U.S. immediately.
I don't know. For those of you who haven't been paying attention, President Trump ignored it.
Well, sort of.
I bet you he waited to answer that call. Like, tell him I'm in the bathroom. Oh, no, wait. The plane's already over international waters. I guess they should shut the big one.
The radios aren't working. Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, no, they shouldn't be using Vonage. Now, the planes on Sunday touched down in El Salvador, and it's a sight. It's good. I love that those are violent, hardened gang members who are actually walking in the huddled fetal position. I've never seen that, but you know that they got some good swats on that plane because you don't typically walk around straight and just like, okay, I'm done, man, I'm done. I'll go in the cell, please.
They throw one guy out of the plane. Anybody else?
And this is a good example of Donald Trump rewards people who are good to us, allies, and those who are not. It's the carrot and it's the stick. So the El Salvador President Bukele wrote this, that the United States will pay a very low fee for them, but a high one for us. I don't know what an El Salvador accent is, so I don't want to
You don't
insult
screw
them.
that up, yeah.
As always, I'll do Spanish.
Yeah, I was going to say, just
As always, we will continue advancing in the fight against organized crime. But this time, we are also helping our allies, making our prison system self-sustainable as obtaining vital intelligence to make our country an even safer place. All in a single action. May God bless El Salvador, and may God bless the United States. It's my favorite Hispanic, is the actual Spanish
really
one.
is, yeah,
it's the funnest
Sorry,
one
El
to do.
Salvador.
And so what you're seeing happen right now is, of course, the usual suspects on the left. They're having a conniption fit. Mm-hmm. You can see that they're furious about this because for some reason these violent gang members are entitled to constitutional rights here in the United States, even though we have no idea how many people they've killed, raped, robbed. No clue.
Pillaged.
And the media, of course, is doing what they do. They're playing these word games. Right? And this is what they did in the past, saying, well, undocumented workers, in this case, they're actually omitting the fact that these are criminal gang members.
Just hours after Donald Trump tried to use an 18th century law to deport 5 Venezuelans, a federal judge halted Trump's order.
The federal judge
Shoulders like a
blocked the
linebacker.
administration from deporting any non-citizens under the president's Alien Enemies Act.
A federal judge is blocking a new order from the president to deport some immigrants.
President Trump has invoked a wartime law known as the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to help speed up mass deportations in our country.
He could be invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. The president saying this would pave the way for faster mass deportations of those in the country illegally.
Yeah, you know what else is from the 1700s? Freedom of speech.
Yeah.
The second, I mean, come on. Like,
freedom of press, the one
seriously?
you're using right now to try to minimize the act by saying it's from the 18th century.
They'll say, like, this is a slippery slope. If you deport violent criminals right now, gang members, what's next? More of them? I hope so.
Exciting. Freedom of spech.
I hope so.
I love how this
idea.
This morning we saw on CNN it said alleged gang members.
Yeah.
What's the allege? The MS-13 tattoo on his face?
Yeah. They all self-identified guys.
Yeah. They're quite proud of it. I don't think they're going to deny it.
The fact that he bragged to like 19 people in his neighborhood and showed them documented proof. Like, this is the picture of I killed him, put his head on a turtle, right? That's cool.
Yeah.
How do you know it's Tren de Aragua? Well, he had TDA on his knuckles.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And his header on X said, I kill people for fun. Oh. So we thought, we think, is this an admission of guilt? So
close enough.
Someone from the White House said that this is going to be headed to the Supreme Court. We're going to win. Who's right? Okay. Another key fact here, all references available, link in the description. The Alien Enemies Act of 1789 is still relevant and should be applied here. Let me read it for you. It says, whenever there is any invasion or predatory incursion perpetrated, attempted, or threatened against the territory of the United States by any foreign nation or government, and the president makes public proclamation of the event, all natives, citizens, denizens, or subjects of a hostile nation or government being of the age of 14 years and upward, who shall be within the United States and not actually naturalized, shall be liable to be apprehended, restrained, secured, and removed as alien enemies.
Good.
Okay. So I guess the technical argument from the left is, well, yeah, you're a foreign nation. Okay. Well, Maduro's Venezuela, they facilitated the TDA gang, to be clear. This doesn't just exist in a vacuum. They're effectively an arm of the government. What about transnational gangs like MS-13? They're operating as nations in and of themselves with their own rules, their own codes of conduct, and they're taking advantage, or at least were, of our porous border. It is almost like this Alien Act was designed for this.
Yeah, MS-13 has their own treasurer.
Yeah. Yeah. They also have their own secretary of turtleheads. It's a very weird one, but they're very big on putting heads on turtles.
Job, yeah.
I don't know why they do so
Lots
much
of
it.
turtles?
Like, you could just intimidate me by being like, I'm going to cut off your head. I don't care what you do with it afterward. Put on a turtle. It makes for a good scene.
I'm not going to see it.
Yeah, exactly. I guess it'll strike fear in the hearts of other people. Here's a key fact. Number 2. I think we're at number 2. The federal courts, they have no business, no authority to do this, to be clear. Right? This was made pretty clear in the U.S. versus Curtis Wright decision here. This comes from, you can bring up this overlay. It says, the president is the sole organ of the federal government in the field of international relations.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. Do you think the founding fathers intended for one out of around 900 federal judges to be able to unilaterally stop the president from doing his job? Now, if you say, hey, this is a check, right, against the abuse of executive authority, okay, fine. But this check is basically an abuse of executive authority, only it's 1 out of 900 judges.
I don't even think the founding fathers could imagine that there'd be 900 judges.
Well, that's probably true.
That's probably true, too.
But also, it's very clear when it comes to foreign policy, the president is the one person that has control over that.
And not to mention, by the way, that this judge did not have any federal authority whatsoever. Like, they didn't have the authority to turn these flights around. They were international waters at the time.
Yeah.
The El Salvador president, Bukele, tweeted,
awesome.
Oopsie, too late.
Fantastic.
And by the way, remember we're trying to get rid of the guy from Columbia University? What's his name? The
Mahmoud
judge basically
Khalil
said we have to keep him here so that I have jurisdiction, which is kind of making the point. They were outside of the United States, no jurisdiction anymore.
Right.
You can argue.
Well, this just comes back. Now, the spirit of it is, why? Why would the left, you look at it in its totality. They're outraged at strikes against Houthi rebels who are killing Americans. They're outraged at trimming back the federal government, for example, the IRS or USA that was corrupt. They're outraged at the idea of deporting violent, felonious criminals who have killed American citizens. At a certain point, you do have to ask, can you show me one issue where you line up on behalf of the American worker, the American taxpayer? Not just some small subgroup of women shouting their abortions or trans individuals who want to get sex changes in the military. Can you name me? The truth is you can't. The left has a deep loathing of the United States of America. That's why we are seeing a huge difference right now. That's why we are seeing all-time low approval ratings for the Democrats, and we are seeing all-time optimism high for the United States, because the optimism is based on the idea that, hey, you know what? We should be looking out for ourselves, our neighbors, our fellow American citizens. Keep watching. Click. Keep watching. Click. Keep watching. Click the keep watching. Click. Keep watching. Click. Keep watching.